flag. Ahoy there, matey. Welcome aboard the world of boating.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I was just looking into buying a boat of my own.
Call World of Boating toll-free now at 1-888-88-28-BOAT. That's 1-888-828-BOAT.
And welcome. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Barry the boater, Mike the mariner, rounding out the crew. Now, I am based at World of Boating headquarters in Orlando. We got the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show going on this weekend. Mike the mariner is down there as we speak. Barry is back at his abode there in Fort Lauderdale. But they went down there, Barry and Mike, to cover the event live on site. I did not go. I had some other responsibilities to take care of at headquarters this week, so I hung back. But Barry and Mike did represent me with a Greg on a stick, and there's pictures up there on the World of Boating Facebook page that we'll apologize for right now, along with a few other boats and stuff. But I told Barry, I said, just go down there, take your recorder, give it your best shot as a man on the street or a man on the boat docks, and, find Mike and get together, do a little thing. So he did his first, on the street or on the dock report, and it went a little something like this.
This is Barry the boater at the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show, and I found Mike the mariner.
Hey, how you doing, Barry?
I'm doing great. Hey, we're looking at these boats here. We're over at Invincible. You said your dad is going to downsize, but the boat he's looking at is actually 1 foot longer. Why is that?
Well, because he changed his plans, apparently.
And he didn't tell you that, did he?
No, but we'll see. I mean, he's a big Invincible fan. It's a great boat, custom boat, and the boat that we're standing next to now is actually the replacement model for the boat that he has. A few differences. This one has quad motors, quad Mercury Verados. His has triple Yamahas. But other than that, the configuration is almost identical with just some updates to the tower. Looks like a slight design change to the tower, but the layout's very similar, and what a great experience. Great boat.
It's almost as powerful looking as my little itty-bitty Surprise. I have boat envy now. This thing is amazing. It is a beautiful boat. It's got a gray bottom, white top, 4 huge Mercuries. I can't imagine what this boat feels like when it takes off. So I'm going to take some pictures, and we can post them on the website, and Mike and I will be walking around all day long looking at boats.
Just have to supervise my dad and make sure he doesn't do anything crazy.
All right. You mean with your credit card?
Right.
Yes. Well, there you go. Yeah, because I did not give Barry the boater my credit card. Not that it would have mattered. It's limited out. It's been that way for years. But yeah, they're out on location, or I should say Mike is at the boat show as we speak there in Fort Lauderdale. And I don't know, first off, Barry did an okay job on his first man on the dock report. What do you think there, Mike?
I thought it was awesome. I'm sorry it had to be me that he had to interview first. I mean, he could have found someone way more interesting.
Actually, you were interesting, and it sounded better than I thought it would. So thank you.
I did a little nip and tuck there, Barry, to make you sound even better. No, I'm kidding. No, it's next
surgery on the.
All these years of being on the World of Boating and watching a genius like myself has paid off. I mean, some of this talent is rubbed off on you, Barry. You think? Or lack thereof.
Let me tell you a real quick story, because Mike has limited time. When I was in the press room and I was waiting for Mike to come in, I hear him over. He texts me. He says, "I'm in the room," and I'm looking. I'm all the way in the back, and I'm watching him. And he says something about, it's a boating show on the radio, and I yell out, "I wouldn't trust that guy." And he turns around and he looks at me and goes, "This is the first time we're meeting in 7 years. We've never actually seen each other before."
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, that's about the time when the statute of limitations expires. So I think it's safe that we can bring you two together in person finally. So, yeah, and they're still talking, which is a bonus after hanging for a couple days at the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show. But Mike is on location. He's going to get back to looking at the boat, so we do want to go to him first and then let him peruse the docks, because you've already been doing this for a couple days now at least, right, Mike? Or what?
Yeah, Yeah. We came down on Tuesday on the Brightline train, and then we toured with my dad, my parents, and my brother for a couple of days, and got to look at several boats. And I think there's one that he is kind of interested in, and it's kind of like kind of an old school center console
Yeah.
fishing boat that's a little smaller than what he has now. And
Okay.
so we're
Well,
actually,
what was the big change that you alluded to with Barry? It sounded like you came down with an idea of what he was going to go, and then he's
Yeah.
went bigger, or what?
Well-
What's the difference?
Well, exactly. So day one, we start looking around at boats, and he keeps walking up to boats that were, the same size as his,
Right.
maybe even a little longer here and there.
Mhm.
And we're looking at each other like, aren't we supposed to be looking at boats that are 5 or 6 feet shorter than this right now?
Right.
But nope. Every time he walked up to one of those, he would shake his head and go right back up to the 40 footers again.
Yeah.
And so,
All
that's
right.
just him.
Well,
but,
that's whatever you're used to. I mean, he
Yeah.
can get whatever the heck he wants, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we did. I did find a boat yesterday. He had already left to go home. I found a boat yesterday that we're actually talking about. So
Really? So
you know,
you might actually make a offer or a purchase before you head
maybe.
back. Yeah.
maybe, yeah. Well, I don't know before I head back, but
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get him back down here to look at it in person sometime. So
Okay.
it's
This is a
beautiful boat.
used boat, I assume, right?
No,
It's-
it's new.
Oh, brand new.
It's new.
Okay.
Brand new.
All right, but
Yeah,
he may
brand
come
new.
back down, take a look, and decide if he wants to pull the trigger, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
So,
what's without giving it away? Because I get the impression you don't want to jump the gun here. But what is it about the vessel that you think he is going to like or is tuned into?
So it is smaller than what he has now, but it has a good beam, has good interior space, and he's really, really into offshore fishing. So
Yeah.
the amenities that this boat has and the equipment really kind of lines up with his interests.
Okay.
And I think it's big enough that he'll be happy with the space, but small enough, and it has one fewer engine. It has twins instead of 3
All right.
engines. It doesn't have a tower, which that'll make it simpler. It's just a simpler boat,
Mhm.
a little smaller, but still very, very nicely appointed.
More just as
Mhm.
capable, but less maintenance, that kind of stuff, right?
So exactly, and
Okay.
easier for him to maneuver and work with, on his own.
Gotcha. What do you
yeah.
think, Barry?
It sounds great. I mean, when I asked him what was the minimum engines, I think he said 2. He certainly was looking at the 4-engine boats.
Yeah.
but
Yeah, that's
he-
why I was shaking my head. I'm like, man,
yeah.
you have 3 now. You're going to go to 4, and you want
4.
to simplify. Well, really?
Yeah. More engines,
So-
more problems.
Well,
So
yeah,
maybe.
2 engines, less fuel, less
Well,
repairs, less all of that.
But maybe compensate for higher power engines or what, Mike? Yeah.
Actually, actually, the boat that we're looking at twin 450s. What
Yeah.
he has now is 350s.
Okay.
But the
well,
boat is smaller, so the power to weight ratio is roughly the same,
mhm.
and so the performance should be the same.
Yeah.
And but the main thing is it's just it's the right size, right
Okay.
amenities,
All right.
very, very well made boat.
You approve, and
Yeah.
you would be a passenger, so that's very important.
Yes.
It sounds like to me.
Absolutely.
And you don't want to say the brand until you decide if you're going to make a offer, I assume, right? Or if he pulls
Yeah,
the trigger. Yeah, because
Exactly.
he doesn't want
I
any
will say this.
competition. Yeah, people listening right now, like, oh, I'm gonna get in there and get that boat before he does. So that's
Yeah.
why he doesn't want to say. Which I
Well-
get.
well-
We'll find out next week on the World of Boating, hopefully.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this: it's actually a marquee brand. It's a brand that everybody would know in the sport fishing world.
Yep.
And the interesting thing I found was this brand had never built a center console vessel before. They built big battle wagon sport fish
Mm.
convertibles, right? And there's another manufacturer that is doing the same thing, and they've never been known for center console vessels. And I stumbled across it, and I was like, "Whoa, holy moly!"
Like, hey
And
now.
It happened to be Bertram. I couldn't believe that Bertram, because many years ago, Bertram made smaller runabouts and
Well, they're opening up their options, so giving us as consumers, boating consumers, more to pick from. Sounds good. All right, more coming up from Fort Lauderdale next. Stay close.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
explorer in the other 2/3 of your world. Be the buddy who takes the kids in the aquarium instead of just to it. Be adventurous. Be amazed. Be a diver.
Traffic sucks, unless you're scuba diving with Mike Scott.
Mike glanced down at his dive computer. It showed less than 50 PSI left in his tank. Probably just a few more breaths.
Or riding shotgun in a thrilling car chase.
One bullet hit the Jeep's windshield, spiderwebbing the passenger side. Mike shifted into second gear and felt the Jeep leap forward. This just got serious.
Escape your commute with audiobooks from author Eric Douglas. Download to your phone. Go to booksbyeric.com or audible.com.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why we've added Nanook protective hard cases to our list of products you can now purchase on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. Underwater photographers, listen up. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook protective cases cost less than similar products currently on the market. The company has been around for over 15 years, but it's new to the U.S., so we've made a small number of Nanook cases available exclusively for you at a special introductory price on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Go there now and check out Nanook, the evolution of protection.
Successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the world of boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Come on, Williams, what are you standing around for here? Get on board.
Get on board. Don't fret. Don't try to.
This is the world of boating. Greg, your first mate, Barry the boater, Mike the mariner, who happens to be at the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show, walking the docks as we speak. We're going to let him go here in just a bit. But before we do that, I want to get a gauge, Mike. I mean, what's the vibe this year for the 2024 Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show? You seeing a lot of people? Is attendance high over the last few days? What do you think so far? What can you tell?
Yeah, I would say that attendance is a little lighter, in my opinion, this year than it has been in the past, but still very, very good.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like, as crazy crowded. I remember there were times it was actually tough to get down some of the docks, but this year it's pretty easy to get around. Still a lot of people.
Right.
Everybody seems to be upbeat. I've talked to a few of the manufacturers. The overall market has been soft, but this show is generating some sales.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great thing.
Well, are you getting any comments like, well, once we get past the election next week, maybe we'll close a few more deals or something?
Actually, that's come up several times.
Yeah.
And that typically happens in an election year, but people are distracted and they're doing other things, and but they want to get their new boat, right? And and I think the show is going to prove to be a success for a lot of the manufacturers here. A lot of activity around accessories. I talked to, there's a couple of venues here that sell accessories and equipment, and they're moving a lot of product, which tells me people are maybe renovating or upgrading their boats, making modifications to existing boats, which is also a great thing. So,
sure. They're expecting
things are happening.
Over 100,000 people over the 5-day event. So, of course, we'll try to get the numbers next week on the show and see how it goes. I mean, the weather seems to be pretty good. I mean, it's a little overcast, a little breezy, as Barry was mentioning earlier. But that's good for a boat show, isn't it, Barry? What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. The breeze brings in a little bit of a cool air. And if there's a shower, it blows by very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
because Mike had the chance to do this. He went on, I believe, the water taxis. Have you tried the buses also to see which way is faster?
No, actually, what we've been doing since we're staying in a hotel, we actually ran into one of these little shuttle services that drives one of those golf carts on steroids.
Yeah.
And we found a guy that said, hey, whenever you want to go somewhere, give me a call. I'll be there in 10 minutes.
Okay.
So he's been Johnny on the spot. He's taken us everywhere. We have not done the shuttle buses back and forth. They seem to be moving pretty well, but the traffic on Las Olas has been pretty slow.
Right.
So if you can find a way to sneak around on a golf cart through these neighborhoods and bypass all that stuff, that's
Well,
a
there
great
you go.
way
You got a little
great way to go about it.
personal golf cart Uber. It sounds like. Yeah.
How did you like the water taxi?
The water taxi was great, except the weather was horrible that day. That was, I think, on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of, it was a 24 knot or 23 knot wind, rain, and just, we still enjoyed it, but it was a little bit
Wasn't
uncomfortable.
ideal. Yeah. Even on the intercoastal with the wind,
Yeah.
it could blow the spray up on you guys a little bit. Yeah, I gotcha.
The weather's way better today. It's actually a little warm. It's actually been cool the last few days, but today, nice and warm. Winds are calm. A little bit of cloud, but still, overall, just a great weather day.
Well, we'll
It's a
see.
great-
You know, today and tomorrow are the big number days. So
Yeah.
we'll get some attendance numbers next week, but they're expecting over 100,000 people over the 5-day event. And I bet they're on track for that is my guess, but we'll see. Mike, what about trends? You were telling me during the commercial break that you're seeing even more outboard engines on boats than we did last year, which probably set a record then, didn't it?
It's amazing. I mean, there are some very large vessels here with multiple outboards, and of course, outboard technology is progressing at a pretty fast pace. V10s, V12s, supercharged. 600 horsepower is now a very common outboard size.
Wow.
You never would have thought about that, right?
Yeah.
There are 55, 60-foot yachts here with 4 and 5, 600 horsepower outboards on them.
Unbelievable.
And I've talked to the salespeople about efficiency and things like that, and the fuel burn, really is kind of comparable to other boats in their class with more traditional power systems like pods and inboards.
Right.
So quite amazing what they're doing with the technology. I think the boat manufacturers are definitely doing things to reduce weight, and that's probably a factor. Hull design with vented hulls is also a factor in speed. And if you can get more speed out of the same horsepower, that equals efficiency. So that's
Sure.
really what these manufacturers are.
And
are
plus,
driving
having
towards.
the outboards versus an inboard system, it's a more modular system. It allows more space to be occupied for comfort, maybe in the for the hull and all that kind of good stuff. And it
Sure.
just kind of depends on what you're looking to do. But the
Right.
outboards have a lot of pluses in that regard, doesn't it?
Yeah, they do. And in fact, one big one that I think about is when you keep your boat in the water full time, and you're able to rotate your engines out of the water.
Right.
That is the biggest maintenance issue. Like my vessel is an inboard, so if I were in an area where the barnacles and things like that were heavy, you really have to pay attention to getting those off the running gear with a
Sure.
diver. The
Yeah,
diver
yeah,
has
yeah.
to go in and literally scrape the bottom of the boat.
Right.
With these outboards on these larger vessels, that issue goes away for the running gear part of it. I mean, you still have to maintain the bottom, but the most expensive part of the vessel is the power package.
Yeah.
And that is protected when it's rotated out of the water. So,
Yeah. Whenever you're going to spend time cleaning your bottom, that's just wasted fish being
Yeah.
efficient.
well, yeah.
But that sounded weird.
But it's always very important to clean your bottom. It's very important.
Yeah. Okay. All
For a
right.
lot of reasons.
So I know you're looking a boat for your dad. Has anything caught your eye? Like, well, maybe I might have to pull the trigger on something for myself. You been being tempted or what?
No, actually, I'm upgrading the electronics. So I spent
Yep.
some time over in the electronics pavilion and spoke to a couple of manufacturers that not sure which way I'm going to go, but
Yep.
I'm going to be replacing navigation, autopilot, and
So
radar.
you're laser focused on that. You haven't just walked by and like, yeah, that'd be a great boat for Dad, but you know what? I could trade this, my vessel in, and upgrade. That hadn't come on. That hadn't creeped into your brain.
It has.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But sanity takes over, and I'm like, wait a minute. What I have works just fine.
And just grab another drink, and that'll all change this afternoon at the boat show. All right. Good stuff, Mike. Good stuff indeed. All right. Well, enjoy the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show. We'll find out what boat he zeroed in on for his pops next week on the show. We'll get the whole report as far as numbers and things like that for attendance. But it looks like it's on a pretty good trajectory, for this weekend. So that's a good sign for everybody who loves boating, right? Yeah. All right. More coming up on the World of Boating. Stay close.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Traffic sucks, unless you're scuba diving with Mike Scott.
Mike glanced down at his dive computer. It showed less than 50 psi left in his tank. Probably just a few more breaths.
Or riding shotgun in a thrilling car chase.
One bullet hit the Jeep's windshield, spiderwebbing the passenger side. Mike shifted into second gear and felt the Jeep leap forward. This just got serious.
Escape your commute with audiobooks from author Eric Douglas. Download to your phone. Go to booksbyeric.com or audible.com.
Do you have a message or product you need to share with the boating world? Well, look no further than the World of Boating radio show. Just like you, thousands of boating enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to worldofboating.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
Successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Listen up. The ship is sinking. Okay? We're going down right now. Just wrap your heads around the reality of that. In 5 minutes, this ship is going to be at the bottom of the lake, and there aren't enough spaces on the lifeboat. Who are we going to save?
Who's going to fix this ship? We got the ship working.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, and Barry the boater. We've stripped down to a skeleton crew and let Mike the mariner wander the docks of the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show. He'll give us a recap next week as he looks to possibly purchase a vessel for his dad.
Well,
which would be pretty awesome if he does. And it sounds like it's big enough that it would host you and me quite well. And that's what matters, right, Barry?
Definitely. And the boats I saw at the convention center, you walked in there, and they look a lot bigger out of water. 42, 43 foot. You're looking at it, and you're saying, whoa, that's big.
Yeah.
There are 4 different sections of the boat show. So there's the Broward County Convention Center, which I have all the boats inside there. And you'll find a lot of them in there. Then you have Bahia Mar, which is the in-water section, but that's where you'll also find the electronics and other accessories for boats. That is a big area. You could spend 2 days just walking that area.
Well, absolutely. I mean,
if you don't want to rush it.
I mean, Mike's on day 3, right?
He's on, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, today's Saturday, day 4.
Day 4 even. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show, by the way, is the largest, largest in-water boat show in the world.
I believe it. It's huge. It really is.
Yeah,
That's
it kind of bounces. Supposedly Miami has more square footage. That's what I've heard. But Fort Lauderdale, they have more boats, more in-water boats, and bigger boats because they have that in-water element. And it's considered the biggest in the world, and brings in like $2 billion over the 5-day event. It's crazy.
I think they said it's like a $1.5 billion boost to the economy, just the local economy. And also on the convention center, since the last time you were there, they are building a huge hotel right next to it. So the people that have the ways and means are going to be able to stay there and then take their water taxi or whatever, or maybe even a helicopter next,
Right.
to these different sections. But there were two other sections that we didn't get to, and I don't know if he's going to get to it. One's called the Pier 66 Marina on the north side, and then they have another one called the Pier 66 Marina south side. The south side's called the Super Yacht Village, and I think they have some airplanes and helicopters on display there too. Because anyone that has a super yacht's going to need a helicopter.
Right. Well, it goes hand in hand. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it is an impressive thing, whether you're in
It
the
is.
market for to buy one of these or not. Just to walk down, these mega yacht row, so, and just see lifestyles of the rich and famous and things. I've done that in the past. It's quite fun. Did you guys? Did they let you on any of those? Did you try to do that?
No, we didn't get there because it was just the first day he was there on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up going on the wrong bus and ended up down at the Bahia Mar, and then had to turn around and come back the other way. So there was a little
they
confusion
got
there.
some super big boats at Bahia Mar still, don't they? I mean,
They have huge, they have, but I didn't make it over there. I'm sure, they'll let you on.
Well, they will with press credentials. They won't. They've cracked down on that. Even for press, I mean, they don't let you on unless you really schmooze them good. But back in the day, I'd go down there and I'd just wander all these fancy super. Hey, I'm impressed. Can I World of Boating? They're like, oh yeah, sure. Take your shoes off. Let's go.
Yeah.
And but they don't even do that anymore. They check your credit score. They make sure you're the real deal.
They do a facial ID real quick and see if you're on the Department of Homeland Security watch list.
Well, I don't even. I think they're more concerned about the credit rating than anything.
The credit
else.
rating?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well,
they want to make sure you got the
then.
money to walk one of these boats because they don't want to waste time on some loser that is just
I
looking
think it
around.
depends. It depends on how busy they are.
Yes, well, that's true. I mean, they're pretty generous to the press like us.
Yeah.
But if you just go up there and you don't have any connection like that, they're not going to give you the time of day. They'll be polite to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not going to let you look. So you got to look from the outside in and just say, I wonder how the other side lives, and do some of that. But that's worth, looking around. It's great sightseeing. For sure.
This is definitely a thing that you could spend if you want to take your time.
Yeah.
You could spend 4 days at easily.
Well, it's like Disney World for boaters.
Yeah.
in a way.
And the weather's been absolutely gorgeous. So there were some and there was one other thing. Mike didn't mention it. He'll probably talk about it next week, but he was looking for a tender, remember?
Right.
Now he has it on his head or in his head. He was looking at the wave runners and he said, you can get this towing system where you can tow 2 wave runners behind your boat.
Yeah. Well, we talked about that on the World of Boating a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, he was looking at them.
He found that he found that trailer company that
I don't know
those.
I don't know if you found it there. He might have over at the EMR.
Yeah.
But they didn't have it in the convention center. But they did have all of the wave runners and boats like that. They also had the what do they call that? The plastic boat that we talked about in the past.
The Switch.
The Switch. Yes, they had the Switch there.
Mm-hmm.
They had some other pontoon boats there, using 3 amazingly large aluminum pontoons. They had an aluminum boat there, and I sent you pictures of it. That looked like it was something that it would have been built for the Coast Guard or for maybe Special Forces. It's all aluminum. It had bars, tubing, steel tubing on the outside or aluminum tubing on the outside. The front deck folds down and you could see a 4-wheeler that would, run off of that. So you could beach this thing on some island. Yeah, I sent you pictures of it. And there's a 4-wheeler parked on the bow.
Sweet.
And you just go off into, I'm not talking about a 4-wheel pickup truck. I'm talking about one of the smaller ones.
Right.
But
take that over to the Bahamas or go to some out island and you have some transportation to just go peruse and explore, right?
If they saw this, they may think that you're invading the island.
Yeah, you're an invader. Right.
It does look like that. I mean, it looks militaristic.
Mhm.
It's got the enclosed aluminum, sort of like what you see with the Coast Guard. Those boats they have with the aluminum all around them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they have the enclosed.
How much?
or
Did you bother
station.
looking?
No, and I forgot to take a picture of the name of it. So
well, yeah, you should have bought.
I'm sure I could.
Why don't
look
you
it
buy
up.
one? That would be a great addition
Because
to your
my
fleet.
little pickup truck won't tow this thing.
Well, you just leave it in the water all the
Now,
time.
yeah,
and,
right.
And then go
By
when you wanna
Walt's
go.
house, our friend Walt.
Yeah, he has
Now,
dockage.
there was a boat there that was beautiful. It was called the Blue Cat, although it was green. And this is a carbon fiber one-off boat. The hull is bigger than my boat. It's a catamaran. And
Okay.
it's probably about 20 foot, maybe 18 foot.
Yeah.
It weighed the hull just weighs 900 pounds.
Wow.
It is amazingly light. And what they did is they put a clear coat. They started, boats are built from the outside in. So you have the form, and then they usually put the coloring like the gel coat, white, gray, whatever.
Mhm.
In this case, it was clear, and then you could see the layup of the carbon fiber
Inside.
inside.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a piece of work. It is really
So you were
beautiful
thinking,
boat.
okay, it's lighter. You could tow it. It'd only be
Oh.
3 feet longer than yours, but it'd be wider because it's a cat. So it'd give you a little
Yeah.
bit more usable space.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
price was in your price range?
I don't know.
You didn't look at that?
No, I don't want to
What?
look at that. It'll
You
break
don't
my
want to
heart.
ruin. You don't want to ruin the dream.
I
by
don't want to
looking at
ruin
the
the dream.
price tag,
It-
huh?
And there was another manufacturer that's based out of Tampa, and they had some neat little small boats that could be either a fishing boat or could double as a. I called it a dinghy, but he said no, it's really a what did we call it before? I forgot the word again.
What is?
Instead of dinghy, a tender.
Okay, right.
Okay,
That's
and then
more formal.
more formal.
Yeah.
Do you remember you ever go to Disney World and they had those little boats? Well, we could discuss on the break.
We will. We'll
Yeah.
we'll bring it back on the other side. More coming up
Okay.
on the world of boating.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network. You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm strong to the finish 'cause I eat me spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
This is the world of boating. Gregor First Mate, Barry the Boater, rounding out the crew as we, reflect on the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show going on this weekend. Barry was there yesterday and the day before. Mike the Mariner there today, finishing up things. Looks like a pretty strong event. I did get, I didn't get to go down there myself, but I did go down with the help of Barry with my head on a stick, which there's pictures up on the World of Boating Facebook page. We'll apologize in advance for that, but you can look at it if you so choose to be tortured visually. Now, Barry
on a stick.
went to all the different venues. One of the I got a picture from one of our other listeners said, "Hey, check this out. One of the coolest things I saw at the boat show was a Cybertruck inside the convention hall." And I'm not sure why it was there. I mean, what are these Cybertrucks? Are they boats too? Do they float, or they can
No.
go through water or something? I don't know. They're supposedly
I have no idea. This one was nice because they wrapped it in black and it looked nice in black.
yeah.
And they had a tow hitch on it. Whether it could actually tow the boat it was attached to, I don't know. I don't know what their limitations are, but it looked nice. Yeah, and they had a few RVs out there too. You can get some good deals on RVs right now if you wanted to. But this other boat that I was interested in was a small boat. And I was going to say, you remember going to Disney World and you could go on the lake there and rent these little boats with maybe 30 horsepower engines on them and zip around the lake for
Well,
half an hour.
the ones that look like cars.
No, not those. No, this
No?
is World Lake at Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
You know where the Contemporary is and all that.
Oh
those
yeah,
two
sure,
lakes there?
sure. By the
You could-
hotels and stuff.
Yeah,
Right?
you could rent these small boats that I think were either 1 or 2 seaters,
Okay.
and spend a half hour zipping around.
Well, they do it at Disney Springs though. They got those cars.
Yeah, those are the
Things,
car boats, but
like
you
a
don't get to
novelty.
drive it.
What do you mean you don't get to drive it?
You don't drive it. There's someone that drives it for you.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I didn't.
You're a passenger on there.
All right. Well, fair enough.
Yeah. But these you could rent. So
Okay.
this company in Largo, Florida called AB Boatworks builds some small fishing boats, center consoles, and they also build these boats called V Power sports boats. And if you remember back in the 70s and 80s and maybe even the 60s, there used to be a lot of people that would build these 13-foot boats, either hydroplanes or V hull, very, very small boats, and they would race them.
Okay.
And it's coming back in vogue, and you can buy these V hulls or these boats. They start at $18,000 for a 13-foot with a 30 horsepower, or you can get the 40 horsepower, and you're really going to haul butt. They can also build you a racing one, which is a single-seater, and you put a 75 horsepower on this thing,
Right.
and it'll do 80 miles an hour.
Sweet.
So imagine
this is almost like a little like Formula One boat racing kind of thing.
Yeah,
For
and-
amateurs, maybe. Well, not
Yeah,
necessarily
they-
amateurs, but
There
Yeah.
apparently are still racing these boats. I didn't realize that. I remember my marine mechanics teachers used to do that. He told us a lot of stories about racing little hydroplanes back then.
right.
But the fact that they're still making these and racing them, they say there was a thing about it. They compete in the APBA race classes when powered with a stock 75 horsepower engine, approaching speeds of 80 miles per hour. That's in a 13-foot boat.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that's pretty fast.
That sounds
mean-
that sounds like fun. Sounds like you're intrigued by the idea. Yeah.
Well, when I was a kid, yeah, that's what I wanted to
Well,
do. Is
what?
build
You,
a
you
little.
could do it now. You're, wiser and smarter, aren't you?
Yeah, I think, but
Yes.
I don't have enough life.
Jury's out
insurance.
on that. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it sounds like you that could be something you could do. You could
Yeah.
do that, Barry.
But
right?
I did. Yeah, I could. I did speak to the owners and suggested that they give you a call and maybe you could set up an interview. I gave them
Okay.
your card,
Yeah.
your home number, your credit card information, everything that they needed.
Right.
So
And they promptly filed it as we expect in the garbage.
no. I think they were interested in talking to you.
Okay, well,
They
we'll
said
see.
They were, yeah.
We'll see. All right, so that caught your eye.
Yeah.
What else? Anything? Did you
just-
see a trend of anything in general at the boat show when you were there, or just bigger,
I did-
better?
I
that
saw
kind
bigger fishing boats, like Mike suggested,
of- Mhm.
40-foot center console boats. And again, when you see them in the water, it's one thing, but when you see them out on dry and how deep the holes are, and you see them with 3 and 4 engines, they are huge.
Yeah.
And they are beautiful. The workmanship, the fit and finish of these have become almost to a point where I think you're afraid to take them out because you don't want to get one little scratch thing or anything. I mean, they're just gorgeous.
Well, what about
the
that
way they're
carbon
put in there.
fiber thing you were talking about?
Well, that thing, I don't know if I'd want to take it out, or if I did, I would have fenders everywhere.
Well, if it's carbon fiber, shouldn't it be a little bit more?
It's not the strength. It's just doesn't look. None of these boats look utilitarian. Where if it gets scratched, it's not going to hurt your feelings. All these boats are just works of art now.
Right.
The way that they mold these boats now, if you look down, what you can do is you look down these hulls and you're looking for a nice smooth surface. If you see ripples, then that wasn't a great mold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, or that was molds that maybe they used 20 or 30
But
years
you're
ago.
saying
What-
they look so perfect, you'd be afraid to take them out because you wouldn't want to get them dinged
get
or
'em
anything.
dinged or yeah,
Be afraid to ruin that new boat look and feel.
right, but that would be a waste. So yeah, absolutely, you need to take them out.
Yeah, you got to use
but-
it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's amazing. One of the boats that Mike's father was looking at, we had opened up a hatch and it had air conditioning for the people sitting at the cockpit. Now, this is a open hull, a center console, but you could have air conditioning blowing on you while you're at the console.
Right.
And we looked inside there, and I don't know how they built this thing, but there was a battery tucked all the way in there. And I just looked at the one of the salesmen there. I said, "How do you change that?" And he just looked at me and says, "I have no idea. I have no idea how they
Just
were going to
tucked
get to that
way
battery."
back in there.
Yeah. we figured, Mike and I figured that in order to change that battery, you probably got to just cut out the whole center console, lift it up, change the battery, and then glue it back in place.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure they have a trick to it. Yeah,
right.
But it was amazing
Mm-hmm.
to see how they've tied everything in. I was looking at the wiring and the plumbing and everything.
So were you
else.
tempted at all? Like once again, when you go to an event like this, you got your 17-foot Triumph, and you're thinking, well, you know, if I traded this in, I could upgrade to this. Did that come across your brain? Come on, surely it did.
No, it did. Because I look at it not just as the boat. I look at where am I going to store it, what am I going to tow it with, how often am I going to use it.
Well,
And
I go
the
back to
Triumph-
that one you mentioned, the carbon fiber. It'd be
Well,
lighter.
yeah, but
give you a
it would
little
be-
bit more utilitarian space. You could probably still
Right.
fit it in your garage.
I don't think so. I'd have to look it up and see what the specs were because
Well, you
it's
said
not
it-
just the boat; it's the garage.
Well, you
I
said it
it's-
was 3 feet longer.
right.
You
My
got
boat
3
fits
foot?
in.
Yeah.
No, it fits in the garage, catty cornered.
Catty
so it's
corner,
not
that'd be
front-
the only way. So straight out. Well, that's because of the trailer, though, right?
Well, yeah, but you have to have the boat on the trailer, right?
Well, I don't know. Do you?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you just put it on like a lift and just roll it into your garage.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I bet you can make it work. That's what I'm trying to help you out here, my friend.
It's okay.
I want
appreciate
you
your
to get a
help.
bigger boat
Bigger
that I'll
boat,
be
so
more
you'll have
comfortable on. Right.
Right. Nope. Sorry, it's going to be a surprise or
Did
nothing.
it have a head on it?
No.
That-
What the green one? No.
Yeah. No. Okay.
All
right.
But a lot of them did, and they had sleeping quarters in some of these center consoles.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to keep working on Barry. But next week, I expect to get a full report from Mike the Mariner. And who knows, maybe we will have received the news that he's purchased a new vessel at the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show. You'll have to tune in and find out how it goes. Oh, and we got this little thing coming up this week with some kind of election crap. But I don't know what the heck is going to happen there either. So we got a lot to cover next week on the show. Make sure you join us. Till then, remember, whether it is sail or motor,
life is better as a boater.
Safe boating, everyone.
barnacle-bitten swab. World of Boating is brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Any of this getting through to you, son?
World of Boating is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Computer standing by.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past shows worldwide over the internet at worldofboating.com.
Computers can do that?
So tell a friend and come aboard every week for the World of Boating.
This is so great. I can't wait. I'm getting goosebumps. Feel me. Feel me.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
TTFN, ta-ta for now.
The opinions you just heard on the World of Boating are those of the hosts, callers, and guests. They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
What are you being such a weenie for?
While on the water, your safety and the safety of many others depends on you. So boat smart and operate your vessel only after receiving the proper training and instruction for your area.
There is a fine line between genius and madness.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at worldofboating.com.